In today's episode, we're going to be talking about making real estate fun again. And it's something that I'm really passionate about because buying a home and financing a home, really, it should be fun. It shouldn't be stressful. It shouldn't be something that you're like, it's like going to the dentist and you don't want to do it. But unfortunately, that's kind of where we're at. And if you talk to a lot of first time buyers, a lot of homeowners that are looking to refinance or get a home equity loan, they're really looking at the process as a negative. They're looking at it as an evil process, as something that they don't want to go through. Okay. So let's talk about why it's like that now. It didn't used to be, but in today's market, people have been beat up and bruised. And I'm mainly talking to my home buyers out there. It's been so difficult with the current challenges. You might have to put in many offers, as we'll talk about. You might come up against a lot of rejection during the process. But there are some things that you can do to get through it easier, to shift your perspective from a stressful one to that of enjoyment and actually enjoying the process, okay? So why is there so much stress when it comes to buying a home? What are the common stress factors? Well, first of all, there's a lot of financial pressure. You're having to review and analyze a lot of financial information. I'm talking about down payment amounts. I'm talking about monthly payments, property taxes, insurance, potential renovations, repairs. You put all this together, it's a lot of pressure specifically on your bank account, on your pocketbook, on the money that you have going out, right? And anytime you're talking about a lot of expenses and a lot of different money going in different directions, there's a stress associated with that, right? There's a lot of financial stress, a lot of financial pressure. So that's one of the reasons that there's a stress factor in buying a home. The other thing is the time constraints. So when you are going through the home buying process, you generally have a goal. Most people don't just have an unlimited amount of time that they can stay where they are. Maybe they want to get out of your parents' basement or a relative's house or a small apartment, and you have a certain timeline that you need to meet that. So there's time constraints, because if you don't find a house or close on a house within that time constraint, then you're going to have to stay in your current situation or find other options. And that can be really daunting. That can be really difficult to take on when you're trying to achieve your goal and there's all these constraints that are stopping you or roadblocks in the process. So time constraint, huge reason why there's common stress with buying a home. The last thing is the competition. And this we're seeing now more than ever, specifically with my home buyers. So much competition out there, very few homes for sale. Bidding wars, getting beat out, even if there's just one or two other offers. If you don't get it, that's a big blow to the ego, right? You gave it your all, I hope, to get that property, and then you don't get it. So the competition is making it much more stressful to buy a home in this market. And I can tell you that I don't have exact statistics, but I would think majority of the home buyers that I talk to on a daily basis have these type of stresses. They have these type of issues mentally that are holding them back and that are in some cases stopping them from moving forward with buying a home, or they're doing it without a lot of intention. Okay. So we want to shift the mindset. We want to shift the mindset from scarcity to abundance. And we want to really take a play out of the psychology book here to put your emotions aside when you're buying a home. So let's talk for a second about having a positive attitude. Really, in anything in life, you need to have a positive attitude, but buying a home in 2024, you need to have a more positive attitude than anything else, because so many hurdles, again, being thrown at you. And if you let the first offer that gets rejected, or the first house that you look at that doesn't meet your expectations, if you let that set you back, if you let that set the tone for your process, then it's going to be stressful. It's going to be negative. We want to make it fun again. So part of that is having a positive attitude, no matter what comes your way. It could be your 10th offer that just got declined from a seller, but you have to have that positive attitude to be able to move forward to the next one. Really, really interesting story I want to tell real quick on this is I had a client that put an offer in. Their first offer, they were gung-ho. They were so excited. They'd been working to get pre-approved, put a great offer in, and they immediately got rejected. Like it just took like an hour, they heard back, hey, we're not taking your offer. With that said, they were ready to throw in the towel. They were like, I don't want to do this. This isn't what I thought. This isn't fun. But we had a heart to heart. We had a one-on-one conversation, and they stuck in the game. And literally like a week later, they put in another offer, their second offer, and it got accepted. Had they not had that positive attitude, had they let that negativity take over, then they wouldn't have put in that other offer, and they wouldn't be sitting in their home right now. So strategies for maintaining a positive mindset, especially in the face of adversity. You want to really think about the long-term benefits of buying a home. Why are you doing this? Why are you going through this process? Write it down, make note, like really have like a vision board, have something that can remind you of why you're going through this. And when you hit those negative spurts, when you have those negative thoughts, look at that. Really, really take it in as to why you're going through the process, the long-term benefits of what you're going to achieve by becoming a homeowner, okay? That can help you keep that positive attitude. Keep the eye on the prize, as they say. Focus on those long-term benefits of homeownership. So let's drill down on that. Maybe you're buying a home because you need a big yard for your dog. Maybe you want to have your kids with a swing set and you can't do that in your current yard. Maybe you are in a 2-bedroom now and you absolutely need a 3-bedroom to be comfortable in your living situation. Maybe you have a really small bedroom and you want a nice big master suite. There's a zillion reasons why you might be buying a home. That's personal, but you want to make note of why and that long-term benefit. What are you really looking for to get out of this? Not today, but 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what are you going to benefit from buying a home? And it wouldn't be right to discuss all this without talking about money, right? The financial benefits of buying a home, the long-term financial success you can have building wealth through home ownership, building equity every month with your mortgage payment, regardless of what your rate is. You're building equity. Another thing is being able, in some cases, you've got a tax write-off, tax deduction, depending on your current financial status and IRS status. You may have a tax incentive to owning property. Discuss that with your tax advisor. That can be a big benefit. Also, the type of benefits that maybe you can't really put a price on, like having that extra space for entertaining, that sort of thing. So take all of this into account when you are looking at your mindset with buying a home and the longevity, the long-term benefits. Also, as you go through the process, celebrate small milestones. You know, we all love that big milestone at the end, getting the keys to the home in the closing table. That's great. But what about all those milestones up until then? The pre-approval, that's a huge milestone, getting that pre-approval done. Getting your offer accepted, huge milestone, especially now. Like, let's celebrate that. Underwriting approvals, clear to close, appraisal comes in, supporting the value, etc. So all these things happen and you should be celebrating them through the process. Your lender, your realtor, we should all be celebrating them together through the process to celebrate these small milestones, which all add up to a big milestone all the way at the end, which is that closing table. So we've always talked about in the Connecticut Real Estate Edge podcast, building a great team and the importance of having a supportive and knowledgeable real estate team. And I think in the context of making real estate fun again, the team is so important, because if you have people that aren't fun, that aren't enthusiastic, that aren't excited to get up every day and make people's goals come true with real estate, then you may not have the right team. I think that almost everyone would agree really successful people in mortgage and real estate have a passion for it. They have energy. They have enthusiasm. Go look at any top producer. It's an infectious attitude that everyone has. And I think it's really important to make sure you're aligned with people on your team that can do that for you, that can have that support for you, that can have that goal setting, that meeting of the minds, the knowledge to get you through every single milestone, to get you through every single piece of the real estate process. And their experience and their know-how should trickle down to you so that when you have questions or concerns, you know you've got the team to help. When you have issues that pop up, you know you have experience at your service to help you get through, because there's always going to be problems and issues that come up during the process. So the key team members I'm talking about are the real estate agent, the mortgage broker or lender, and the real estate attorney. There's a lot of other professionals in the process. There's a much bigger wealth team that you can build with financial advisors and estate planners and all that, but I want to really focus on the real estate team, real estate agent, mortgage, and the real estate attorney, because those people you're going to be dealing with day to day as you go through the process. So tips for finding those right professionals: make sure you're dealing with someone with good experience, great reviews, really, really good references. I think if you stick to that and you vet that, meaning you look them up, do your research, then most of the time you're going to have a good experience, because people don't get to hundreds of reviews online or a great online presence and tons of content or any of that without some sort of experience backing it up. You have to have all of those things and the reviews to back it up, because someone that just sounds and looks good online, but they don't have experience or transactions under their belt, that's not going to help you. That's not going to help you get through the process in a fun way. That's not going to make real estate fun again, because you're going to be wondering the whole time, do they have my best interest at heart? Can they help me through the process? So if you build that foundational team up front, as we've always been talking about here, then you know you're going to be in good hands, and you can really help yourself mentally to make the process a little bit more fun. Okay? Setting realistic goals. A lot of people during the home buying process put goals in place for themselves that aren't realistic. So they want to find a house, they want to get pre-approved, find a house, go under contract in a week. Maybe back in 2018 or 19, that was possible. But in this market, generally, it takes a little bit more time. You don't want to set a goal so high that you're going to be devastated when you don't hit it. So for most of my clients, I'm talking about a 30 to 60 day process of finding a home and going under contract. Okay, 30 to 60 days from when you get pre-approved to working with your realtor, finding properties, putting in offers, and then getting an offer accepted. Okay, 30 to 60 days is realistic. It can take longer. I've had people take 6 months or more. I've had also people go under contract the first weekend. No issue, no problem. Okay, so set the goal for yourself that's realistic in discussing with your realtor, your lender. How long should I give this? What's the current state of the market? What should my goals be, right? So that you at least make sure that your goals are aligned with expectations of what's realistic in the current market. Another really important thing is prioritizing must-have versus nice-to-have in a home. And I recommend with this, you create some sort of list or spreadsheet with whoever you're going to be living with, and you really list out your must-haves and your nice-to-haves, meaning the characteristics that you're really looking for in a home. And every property you come across, you plug it into this must-have versus nice-to-have and see what boxes that it checks off. Okay. And the last thing on setting realistic goals I want to touch on is setting a realistic budget. So I'm seeing a lot of home buyers today that change their budget. So maybe they start out saying, well, I only want a mortgage of $1,500 a month. Then they get out in the market and see what $1,500 a month buys them. Pretty much nothing in most areas, or a really, really major fixer-upper type of property. And then they shift and change their goals or change their budget. But we really need to have a heart-to-heart and a one-on-one to figure out what is your comfortable budget. Because in this market, you really have to put your best foot forward as early as possible in the process. So once you have that budget, you need to stick to it. And that also goes the other way. You might be looking at a $800,000 house where you only qualify for a $500,000 house. Just had this happen with a client yesterday. And they weren't even close to qualifying for that $800,000 house. So we had to have that one-on-one and discuss their budget, what they could afford, and what their salary was versus their debt, and some things that they could do maybe to increase their buying power, which in this client's case was to pay down some debt. Okay, so having that budget set up front realistically with your realtor and lender is going to be a huge piece of the puzzle for setting that realistic goal. Okay, now let's talk through house hunting and making that fun and interactive. So you want to turn house hunting into a activity, really. I know a lot of people are used to just going online to Zillow, Realtor, those different websites and looking online, and that's all fun. You know, we can do that together. But where the rubber meets the road is when you actually get out into the market and start looking at properties in person. Make a day out of visiting different neighborhoods, maybe a little bit, farther out than you'd normally look. You might find some needles in the haystack. You might find an undiscovered gem that you wouldn't have looked at before. So, make a day out of it, make an activity out of it, and bring your notebook with you. Make a checklist, as we talked about. And as you're looking at properties, check the things off the list that work for you and make notes of what didn't work for you. That information is really going to help, and you can turn it into a game, right? So maybe you looked at 5 houses, you immediately throw 3 of them out, but then 2 of them, might work. We need to compare those 2. So it can be, again, like a game, and it's really fun to have collaboration on that with your spouse, your realtor, your roommate, whoever you're going to be living with in the new property, to make sure that everyone's goals are met and turn it into something fun and interactive. The other thing is involving family and friends, and this could go either way, but if you have supportive family or friends, you have people that are there to help you, that want to support you through the process, especially if they're helping financially with the process with a gift or whatnot, then I would definitely involve family and friends in the process. But you need to set boundaries because you're buying a house for you, not for them. Okay, so make sure that you set those boundaries so that you don't get coerced or manipulated into buying something that maybe isn't right for you. Okay, so make sure that you really put those boundaries in place. Using technology and apps to enhance. Zillow, Realtor, like I said, these different websites, Redfin, you can find properties online. You can narrow it down like you couldn't really do 10, 15, 20 years ago. Now you really can. So it gives you a lot of information that you can see online about properties so that you can narrow it down, right? So sometimes you'll see a property's photos and just go, nope, that's not something I'm interested in. Other times you'll see the photos and it's like, this is the perfect house. So you want to just sift and sort. And that's what I'd use technology and online apps to do, is to help sift and sort properties for you so that you can really make the most of going out with open houses, visiting neighborhoods, and that sort of thing. Technology is great, but at some point you really need to get out there and do what you need to do to get boots on the ground and get into a property and just see how it feels when you walk through that front door, okay? Understand that buying a home is a journey. It's not just a transaction that you're going through. At the end, you're done, right? You want to really understand that this journey is something that many people have been through before and many will go through after you. And it's something that you really want to embrace, right? It's a really good process to go through if you have the right foundation, the right team, the right mentality, as we're talking about. Something that you can do personally to help embrace the journey is to document the process through photos, a journal, social media posts, things of that nature, and find joy and discovery in the learning aspects of buying a home, right? Share that with others because there's so much misinformation out there, so much bad education about home buying that it just changes and shifts so often. Share your knowledge that you're getting, share your information and discovery that you're having with other people so that you can help benefit others that may be on the fence. And I think nowadays a lot of people are doing that through social media and through the internet. So that's a huge piece that you can help share with others. Now, as we wrap up here, let's talk through just concluding it and how to make real estate fun again. So we talked about setting realistic goals, having a good team, the right mindset, understanding why you're having stress during the process and how to mitigate that, right? I want you to really approach real estate with positivity. I want you to approach it with excitement and make sure that the other people that you're working with on the transaction have the same mentality as you and are there to help and support you through thick, through thin, through the ups, through the downs, right? If you're somebody that's been through the process and you had a really good experience or really bad experience, I'd love to hear about it so we can talk about maybe that on future episodes. So feel free to reach out to me. If it's your first time listening, subscribe, rate the channel, rate our podcast here. Really, really appreciate it. And leave us a review. You can follow me on all social media at Weinberg Mortgage, WEINBERG Mortgage. And of course, as always, we'll be bringing some amazing real estate professionals, real estate investors, and other guests in the coming episodes to you. So stay tuned next time. And thanks for listening. Take care.